Hello, what's up, guys? Welcome to Huobi Market Chat, and today we are going through the Primebox and Ethereum 2.0 Carnival, and we also have two special guests. We have Bobby, the founder of Fellaz, and also we have Europe, the founder of Oceanland. Today we'll be introducing the projects, the protocols, Fellaz and FLC, and also the Oceanland. We'll talk about the purposes and also the mission of the projects, and then later on we'll have more interesting topics that me, Bobby, and also you will discuss. So make sure you stay updated and also stay tuned to the chat. And also at the end of session, we have the long-awaited Primebox. Make sure you listen to the end so that you know how to collect the awards in the Primebox event. So without further ado, let's get started. And Mr. Bobby, would you like to explain? Would you like to introduce yourself so that audience know you more about your background, and also why you started the project?
Well, first of all, thank you, Johnny, and thank you to Huobi for hosting this event. Just as a means of background, I spent about 25 years in the financial industry. So I started my career trading options. I helped set up JP Morgan Partners in Asia. I also ran as the chief investment officer for AIG. And 2012, the blockchain bug hit me. Being in the whole finance world and looking at the ethos of what blockchain was going to offer was very, very appealing to me. So, we started more from an academic perspective. And over the years, kind of grew into investing in cryptocurrencies in 2014-15. And, we saw the whole cycle around the whole fintech space. But, what was really interesting to me was when the NFTs came around, right? So the world had gone to about $1.5 trillion plus in overall market capitalization for crypto. And just like, as I always say, like the Renaissance period, right? When a market becomes so successful, they always like to find other avenues in art. And with the NFTs, I saw a real use case emerging. And what I have to say is, and we'll talk a little bit more about this later, but the NFTs for me was actually about intellectual property rights, right? So what started off as CryptoPunks, or it started off as the moments with the NBA and LeBron James' big clip, what really caught my attention was the intellectual property that was being on offer. As part of that, as we developed more and more interesting technologies, as the technologies developed more, there was obviously a real opportunity with the Korea K-pop phenomena, which is actually a global phenomenon. So the idea was to get the whole digital transformation that was happening in the Web3 world, and how would we connect people from the Web 2.0 world, and basically have them monetize some of their rights. So before, you had movie actors who would do advertisements. Then you had movie actors and influencers that were actually on Instagram. But now on the Web 3.0 world, you had these amazing artists with tremendous following who were looking to monetize. So part of the reason where Fellaz came around was our group, which was actually headquartered out of Korea, but now it's not actually headquartered out of Singapore, basically started with the Korean high quality assets or intellectual property, or performers, as you want to call it. And what we wanted to do was create a B2B platform so they could have a one-stop shop to really monetize their digital rights. So it's not only about the artist, it's also about the convergence of e-commerce and retail. It's about the convergence of brands. It's about the convergence of gaming. So when you sit right at the middle as a B2B player that we are at Fellaz, is how do we enable that artist or the agent or all of the other businesses that come alongside with it in the Web3 world. So it could be anything from creative to NFT ticketing, to NFT trading, to marketplaces, to conceptualization, as to what the NFTs are supposed to mean. So, of course, we'll talk a little bit more in detail about that, but that's how the project came along.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Bobby. I see you you are so obsessed with NFTs, and also, we just learned that the Fellaz FLC, the platform, is a very interesting. I would say a business model that brings pieces of crypto and also some intellectual property and also artists together, so that this is really a connecting machine that drives different stakeholders together, and that's what you are delivering. And I think it's really interesting to learn about it. Thank you, Bobby.
Well, that's why I always say, right? Like Jack Dorsey said, Web 5.0. So which is Web 2.0 plus Web 3.0 creates Web 5.0. So, right? It creates 5. So actually what we're really talking about, whether you refer to it as Web 5.0 or 2.5, right? So the idea is that we want to take real world businesses with real world use cases and actually enable them. So branding has always been there. Advertising has always been there. Some sort of digital intellectual property has always been there. But think about, what I'll talk a little bit more about is the NFT ticketing side. Now, the ticketing business is one of the things that we'll be launching in the next month or so with some of our partners, which I think is very, very interesting because it's a real use case. People go to events, whether it's online or offline, right? Now, in the old days, remember we used to get those concert tickets and we would have a tack board and we'd put it up so we could show off to people and say, oh my God, look at this. I went to such and such Guns N' Roses or this concert. But today, you'll end up with an NFT as a collectible that you can trade in the marketplace. In the ticketing world, the original sale of the ticket is one part, but then the secondary market for that ticket is 2 to 3 times bigger than the original sale. So that it changes hands 2 or 3 times. But guess what? The artist never gets any of the royalties for it, right? So with smart contract, you enable the artist. So we're taking real world use cases in established industries, and the way we're looking at blockchain is just trying to make it more efficient.
Yeah, I see. I get what you mean. Yeah, the intellectual property, that licensing, when it comes to secondary market, it actually, secure the property of the artists themselves, and it's an important part to be considered, in dealing with NFTs and also the artists themselves. So I would also like to introduce Mr. Europe. Mr. Europe is the founder of Oceanland, and Oceanland is a metaverse gaming project. And I think, Mr. Europe, would you like to introduce yourself so the audience know more about you and your view towards Bobby's project, and also maybe we can discuss about it later.
Okay, thank you. Firstly, thank you, Bobby, and all supporters and players, and for you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I am working as an associate professor in the field of digital games at Muğla University. It's from Turkey, the Muğla city. I am also CEO of Oceanland. You mentioned it before. We have many blockchain projects now, and it's related to our Oceanland project also. When the time comes, we will explain the project we are working on according to our roadmap. So thank you. If you have a question, I will answer you.
Yeah, thank you, Umit. So I think Bobby just mentioned something like NFTs, and I think you and Bobby will have some common opinions, like you both agree on like the intellectual properties and that kind of stuff. What's your view on NFTs? What do you think about NFT, Mr. Europe?
NFT is the future technology is very important things, but I explain with Oceanland. If it's okay by you. So Oceanland is an NFT game that combines crypto economics with the gaming world using blockchain technology. The story revolves around a man who is on a mission to find an ancient civilization and is shipwrecked. He wakes up at shore after the shipwreck, sees a tropical island. Know that he needs to do is survive and explore. We have 4 main resources in Oceanland as an NFT. So Oceanland is a play to earn blockchain game that combines crypto economics with the game world. The players earn income by gathering resource required for the main character. Oceanland brings different aspects of blockchain technology together by merging several crypto assets with DeFi and NFT. Food, one of the NFTs, water, food. We have 4 NFT also. Water, food, and wood. Finally, metal. Water is the resource of life, as our real life. Food is required for energy. Wood is needed for shelter. Finally, metal is the key component of the advanced tools. I mentioned before, we have 4 NFTs for each of the resources. We also provide free NFTs with the free-to-play mode. Players can select their favorite resource and tool and start playing as soon as possible. Thank you.
Yeah, I see. Oceanland kind of offers NFTs like the gaming part, while Bobby's project is actually a more utilization based and also is actually a business driven project, which includes the utilization of intellectual property rights with artists and NFT, that kind of stuff. So that's really interesting to learn about your project, Oceanland. And yeah, so I'm actually a little bit curious about, Bobby, you just mentioned that your target marketplace is you have like Korean idols, right? I heard that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think what we're doing is actually way beyond Korea, because obviously being in Singapore, we're global. So actually, really, just as a business starts, you start with certain projects, right? So one of the things, just to give you an idea, we just when Fellaz launched right after our listing, which was about the end of June, right? Yeah, June 26th or 27th. What we did was we launched MetaMu. Now, Fantagio is one of the leading production companies in Korea. So it's a traditional based business. So what we did was we produced the world's first web-based, as you call, metaverse-based singer, and created an NFT around it. Now, what that NFT actually provides you is the future, a share of the future royalties of that artist. So we actually launched this in first week of July in Singapore. We also partnered up with crypto.com, and the entire collection was very well received and sold out in a very, very short period of time. So we're doing more and more of these. In Japan, we partnered up with Rakuten, and with Rakuten, as you can understand, Rakuten is a very, very serious behemoth when it comes into the industry of IP and a bunch of things, right? So they extend from manga to cartoon characters to now sports also. So with Rakuten, we are actually looking to do something very. We're going to be announcing it soon with NBA in October, which is going to be a very important project for us, and so on and so forth. So Avex, Kakao, Clayton, these are all individuals that have real intellectual property. They have real distribution power. We're just coming in and plugging in to somewhere right in the middle to basically try to facilitate this. So one of our biggest use cases is going to be on the ticketing side. So there's you guys have heard about Wonderfruit, Ultra Music Festival, etc. Right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're going to be announcing our partnership with Ultra Music.
That's cool.
And as we're working with them, there's a bunch of things that are on the whole pipeline, including our NFT ticketing platform, where we get the ticket, and then whether the ticket moves or not, your wallet then allows you to enter the event, whether it's online or offline, And once you enter the event, you're given a collectible. And that collectible not only is tradable, but the collectible also gets you privileged rights for the next concert, for example. So you're gamifying that whole aspect and you're creating that whole collectible environment. Just think about what were they called at McDonald's? Happy Meals. Kids love collecting. We in Asia, we love collecting. I mean, we have a huge fandom. Yeah. So just like that, now we are also working with a couple of the big Hollywood production studios that are actually looking at real world applications, everything from the DeFi side of movie financing, but also then saying, how do we promote, for example, a movie? And how do we get the early adopters to get there? And of course, there's collaborations. When we launched our Fellaz, by the way, Felix, which is one of the Bored Apes, we did a collab with Nike, and we did a big event in Singapore to launch the thing, to introduce MetaMew, the first metaverse K-pop artist. And we also, for charity, auctioned off a number of these items. So these are the kind of things that we're looking at.
Yeah, thank you, Bobby. Actually, I'm very curious, because I just learned that there are other forms of collectibles other than JPEGs.
Correct.
Because back in 2021 and 2020, NFT was a really hit topic, and a lot of my friends and also people around me were discussing about some very expensive JPEGs like Bored Ape and that kind of stuff. But now it seems like things actually are developing and evolving. Like your project took NFT to another level. Like you have to incorporate intellectual property, and also you also have some rights by putting some rights into that collectible. Like if I purchase a ticket for some for my favorite artist, and then if I have the ticket, and it will be the data will be stored, and it shows that I have the rights to maybe later on I can even enjoy some privilege by showing that I actually purchased the ticket. And that's really interesting, to me.
No, that's exactly right, Johnny. So think about it, right? We started off with JPEGs.
Yeah.
We moved into the videos, right, with Dapper Labs and the moments. And the moments had their moments with NBA, right? Then we moved into the whole community-based token offerings, which was the Bored Ape Yacht Clubs, etc. Then we moved into in real-life collaborations with big brands, because ultimately the brands are also trying to reach a certain audience. Actually, the latest in real life was the CryptoPunks and Tiffany. So I think they offered 250 necklaces for $50,000 each for CryptoPunks holders. So basically, if your wallet had an asset, then you would be able to get on the whitelist and be able to bid for that or just purchase that. And now where we are actually going is even further than that, right? Investment DAOs with projects like Alethea. We're looking at more dynamics NFTs. So there is, just like the crypto community kind of evolved and we started learning. And really, I also invest quite a bit in this space, and for me, the investment is both on from an art perspective, right? But it's also from a technological advancement perspective. So as long as we're technologically advancing, we're working in this whole decentral space. To me, that's very exciting. And the applications are now moving into the gaming world where Ayub sits in. So, the last statistic that I saw was that of the total NFT space, which is effectively somewhere still around that whole art, kind of collectible world, about only 8% of the people actually own gaming assets or assets that have utility within the game, okay? But the interesting thing is that 8% of the assets are actually owned by 54% of the people who actually own it have the most active wallets. So you can actually start understanding that the more sophisticated investors are now starting to look at utility. So whether you're effectively securitizing with your NFT, royalties for a movie, you're securitizing royalties for music, or you're getting tickets, which is actually giving you an in real life experience, but also creating secondary value, right? Those are the important things that people are looking at. So there's a search for utility, there's a search for a use case, and the way we're looking at it is saying, hey, let's give that real use case. But people go to concerts today. So if people can go to concerts and get something in return for it that creates a secondary value with an existing artist that has a big following, why not? Right? So those are the kind of use cases we're looking at.
Yeah, I think I get you. I get your points that that this, as long as we are technologically advancing, and then we can discover more value in utilizing the NFTs and bringing out the secondary value, and yeah, that really interests me. And what's the other thing I want to talk about is that the gaming sector is really accelerating, especially back in 2021 when assets infinity exploded, and and just a few months, like half a year ago, we had the social fi, and I mean the exercising gaming that's called run on Solana chain. That's called you can run, and you also earn the rewards by playing the game, play to earn. It's really interesting. So, Mr. Europe, what's your view?
Yes.
Yeah, because your game, your project is actually also a play to earn project, right? So, yeah. So, what do you? I just want to learn more about the project. Like, what's special about the play to earn gaming in Oceanland?
Everything is special in our game, and also everything interesting, because we accomplished everything we have set as our goals. First, we had a private sale, which was sold out. Then we had our IGO, and both RedKit and GameFi, both of them sold out. Then we had our package sale, again sold out. Then our native token was listed on Huobi Global, as you know. We also added liquidity to the Pancake Swap. We launched our mainnet a couple of weeks ago, and we have more than 1,000 players already right now. It is not over. We aim to attract not only gamers, but also crypto enthusiasts with our own DeFi platform. We provide swapping, staking, and farming features also. We also have our own marketplace where players can securely trade their NFTs. That is it.
Yeah, that's cool to learn. What's the game that what's the game about? If I want to play the game, it's like survival game, or what kind of game it is?
Is it survival game actually?
It's a survival game.
Yes, it depends on islands. So you have to find some thing to survive, and you also solved some puzzles in the island, because it's mystery games also. It has mysteries, and you solved some mysteries. Also, you have to survive. It's very, very interesting game actually.
Yeah, that's good. It's like Man in
Yes.
Wild, right?
Yes, that's right. Johnny.
Yeah. Bobby, do you like playing, games, especially play to earn games? What's your view and opinion towards play to earn games? And also, do you think that what's the future, prospect of this sector? What do you think about it, Bobby?
Sorry, I was on. So I was an investor, an early investor in Axie Infinity, Sky Mavis. Obviously, a few things have happened. I think we're still pretty early on in that whole development cycle. The reality is that today the gaming industry is about $200 billion, right? And the traditional gamers, the guys who play League of Legends and Dota, to be honest with you, they don't think much of Web 3.0 gaming. And they're like, yeah, it's not cool. It's actually not really gaming. It's trading, right? Listen, I like the concept and I like the ethos that Axie was built on. And that's why I was one of the earliest investors. But also what I also noticed that, in some of these third world countries, it actually gave an alternative way for people to earn, right? And then you also had the guilds that kind of showed up, which was effectively trying to finance, people who didn't have the capital to get it, right? So I think play to earn, was an interesting thing. Now, not getting too technical, but just the way the model has been set up, because the issuer of the asset is one, the marketplace is the same one, the token owner is the same guy. There's some conflicts of interest that possibly exist. And ultimately, traditional Web 2.0 gamers or investors will say, who's paying for this, right? Somebody's paying for this. So you actually have to think a little bit beyond that. And part of the big problem has been that the way the EVM, Ethereum virtual machine, has been set up, right? The EVM infrastructure is set up. Right now, you can only have certain types of games that can be supported because of the throughput or the transactions per second, let's just say. So the idea is to look at, either through the business model, as we have been looking, right, on ticketing and giving real world use cases. So just to give you an example, why is ticketing also important? So today, $100 ticket, if you were to get a printed ticket, will typically cost anywhere from 6 to 8% of the ticket value. So just printing the ticket with the QR code and the location, etc., cost companies $6 to $8 on $100 face, which is a pretty big cost, right?
Yeah, really.
So with the blockchain, what we could do is we could actually just lap that cost and still, for us to earn money on our network, but at the same time, the real world to have actual utility to be able to do that. I think the future is something that we've also invested in, as I mentioned earlier to you, is that we've bought Parachain 22 from Polkadot. What I love about that is the layer 0 security infrastructure and the interoperability, which means that I can connect to Ethereum, I can connect to Clayton, I can connect to various different platforms, which means I can connect to various different liquidity pools, right? So I think the future of gaming is open. I think it's about the interoperability. It's about creating an infrastructure we are creating to give you higher throughput, so low latency, high frequency. Now, as soon as we start providing that, what you're going to see is like Ayup and so many other game developers get more and more sophisticated in terms of the games, which will then lead to great mass adoption.
Yeah. In terms of mass adoption, I think it's really important to drive people use the project and use the value. And, that is really a challenge I think you and also Mr. Yu will face in, building your own projects, because growing your community is definitely, a big challenge to you guys. So just a, another question. I'm just curious. How did you reach out to your all your targeted customers? Like, how do you do the marketing stuff to get people really understand why is it beneficial for them to use the project? Yeah.
Okay, Ayup?
Yeah. Maybe he's on mute.
Okay,
right?
so I'll go first. So
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, and it's a very relevant question: is how do you drive the adoption, right?
Yeah,
So first
that's
and
really-
foremost, it's not easy for non-crypto native people to truly understand how to set up a wallet, how to do this. So the onboarding is not necessarily the most obvious, right? Now think about the industry and how we have attacked the problem and why Fellaz is actually there, right? So Fellaz started off with actually getting great intellectual property. Now, this intellectual property happened to be in Korea. As you know, Korea is actually quite a developed market with the cryptocurrencies and people's understanding of the blockchain. Number two, you were picking assets that people knew of, right? So whether it's an artist or whether it's Rakuten or it's with, so you get the benefit of that spillover effect of the followers that already exist within that community, and for those individual artists or celebrities, right? And then you have certain celebrities that have a following that's very, very crypto native, and then partly may not be crypto native. But what you do is you run through that whole communication and education process to make it a lot easier. So, for example, when we're launching our ticketing app, for example. Now, you'll be able to use your Clayton tokens. We built it on Clayton. You'll be able to use Bitcoin. You'll be able to use Ethereum, or you'll be able to use cash because we've done a integration with a fiat provider. Now, people say, hey, listen, the old world economy doesn't like projects in crypto. So it's really confusing, and they don't want us to list on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. But I don't think that's the case because, frankly, we're just selling a digital ticket. We're selling a digital ticket to an event. So whether you use a credit card or you use crypto, that makes things easier and the adoption a lot easier to get the masses. Now, the only different thing that we're doing is where we are allowing for royalties to be earned every time that ticket moves. And more importantly, Johnny, let's say you had the ticket and you attended that Guns N' Roses or the Ultra Music Festival, right? You'll also get a collectible in your app. So people have been used to using apps. Now, if you do not know how to use a MetaMask wallet or that, so the idea was that onboarding should be easy, right? You always purchase tickets. Even today, you get tickets and you purchase it off a website and you'll get an email with a digital ticket with a QR code. So it's no different. So we said, we'd love for you to transact in that, but otherwise you can transact in fiat and our treasury will convert it, purchase it on your behalf and give it to you. So we've just kind of taken the pain point out. So if you want mass adoption, you have to think about the customer above and beyond the crypto native customer in actions that they already do today.
Yeah, it's really rare to see some, not as an investor, but as, a general citizen. I'm living in Hong Kong, and there's actually a very few utilization of crypto assets, to be honest. It's still early and very, I would say, immature. Because I just heard that, my friend is working in a like NFT marketplace. They are building something like connecting the restaurants with their customers and launching their own NFT thing. And what I just recently heard about the recent development of NFT in Hong Kong is actually F&B related. F&B related. I would still think like the incentive for me to get the collateral is not that really. I just don't have a big motive to get the collateral.
You know what it is, Johnny? It was like in 1998, 99 when the WW web came out, right? So people are like, oh, let me just put www next to my brand and it's going to increase my value, right? Just to give you an example. Right? So you had like but I'll give you some interesting examples, but we're still early on. So let's think about NFT beyond art, right? So food we can talk about. But for example, if I'm a chef and I'm creating these amazing recipes, and you could, purchase my NFT and my mystery box will open up a recipe, that's utility, right? I mean, I should not get the NFT just to get a reservation at a restaurant, but nowadays, post COVID, I mean, I have a great restaurant getting a reservation, right? Because everybody's out there. But
Yes,
I'll give you an example. Sylvester Stallone put out a limited edition NFTs. So for some people, so what the NFT gave you was access, just like this, online, to watch a Sylvester Stallone movie like Rocky, right? With him like pausing and just giving you the backstory as to what happened or something, right? But it may not be something that's interesting to you, but if I'm a Sylvester Stallone, that's actually giving me utility, right? So it's like, I spent $100. I get to be on a conference call with Sylvester Stallone, watch a movie with him, and get the real kind of a backstory or a commentary around the movie. So different people find different things valuable, right? And I think it's part of that price discovery. It's part of that interesting discovery that customers go to, by the way, which is exactly the same way how we run our traditional businesses, right? So we'll have a product, we'll have our go-to-market strategy, then we'll test that go-to-market strategy, and then we'll come back and tweak the product and say, hey, which demographic are we going to hit? But young demographic. So coming back to Fellaz for a second, it's not only Fellaz. It is K-pop is a global phenomenon. So when BTS did their, I can't remember, like an hour and a half concert, which was in the theaters, it was number 2 or number 3, I can't remember exactly, this summer on the box office. I mean, the box office the first week was like $70 million. Now, it is a concert, which is kind of being broadcasted as almost like a documentary or a live documentary movie, but there's tremendous interest. So, and the tremendous interest is coming from your Gen Y and Gen Z. The Gen Y and Gen Z is the person who's playing games, is the person who's actually very comfortable with digital interaction. And depending on their age, it's, has a pretty good understanding of blockchain or cryptocurrency trading. So, it's shifting trends that we have to look at. And the smart artists are already looking how to monetize it. So Hollywood being one of the key places where you're actually seeing it. Korea, amazing, doing exactly the same thing. We've invested in a company called Icons, and we're partners at Fellaz with, that is actually monetizing movie assets in India with the Bollywood crew. So you're starting to see these converge. The key thing that we always talk about at Fellaz, which is important to us, it just cannot be just a piece of art. It has to have utility. It has to have real world value. So we want to give the real world value plus the NFT.
Yeah, I see what you mean, and also appreciate the interesting the concept that price discovery, value discovery, price matching, and also the demographic choice. You are actually pointing out that trends. You are pointing out some interesting trends for our audience. I think it's a very big takeaway for a lot of us, because maybe some people are still new to crypto and they have, don't have a very clear concept of how things work. But to sum up, NFTs is actually evolving to have more utility, like just like what Bobby said, and also what I just mentioned, that a lot of new projects are actually trying to launch their own ideas, like I mentioned, restaurants having their own collectibles, artists having their own collectibles, even tickets can be monetized as NFTs. In my opinion, I think I'm very optimistic about the development of this technology because as you said, I'm from millennial and and it's actually I totally get it. We are people like my age.
Johnny,
Yeah.
you're definitely not a millennial. You're too young to be a millennial. You're definitely a Gen XYZ.
Gen XYZ. Yeah, but,
Yes.
that's very, very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about our token economics of Oceanland in that point because Bobby told a lot of things. So I'm forget to remember it. So Oland is native tokens of Oceanland. There's a limited supply of 960 millions. So 5% was allocated to seed sale, 2% was allocated to the IGO, 8.5% is allocated to the liquidity. Allocation is 10%, marketing is 50%, and play to earn is 32.5% also. As of now, 7 million, roughly 80% of the total supply is unlocked right now. Oland is listed on Huobi Global and PancakeSwap. There are multi-tier, one exchange we are in talks with. Our revenue model also there are mainly three types of earning model in Oceanland. First one of is free-to-play mode. Free-to-play is a new feature we have provided recently. We know the basic setback of the NFT games is that the entry costs are relatively high. Therefore, many players can't even test the game. So we have added an option that you can play the game for free. You don't even need to have a blockchain wallet, since that's also another setback. You can register with your email, start playing the game with the free NFT and start earning. Secondly, there is the play to earn model. This is the basic functionality of Oceanland. Players use their NFT tools also. We often call it mining, and produce resource. Then they swap this resource into Oland, which is Oland's native tokens, as before mentioned. Oland is listed on both centralized and decentralized exchange, on Huobi and PancakeSwap to be specific. DeFi platform is the third model. An investor can start earning by staking Oland tokens or farming Oland and our partners tokens also. We currently have 3 farms as of now, Bell, ARPA, and True Feedback. All these farms and stakes have high APR yields. That's all right now. And if you want, I can talk about our good things in game, or what you mean. So
yeah, for sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. A dedicated team who works 24/7. We have been working really hard since day one and will continue to do so. We are not only dedicated, but also very experienced in game mechanics. We have worked really hard on the game mechanics since it is the key point for a sustainable in-game economy. We have provided many features such as ticket system and durability. The main problem of the play-to-earn games is the exponential growth of the players. So inflation, deflation is very big problem, you know. As soon I have one tool with 30 days of ROI, Then I will 2 tools the next month, 4 tools the next, and so on. However, you cannot grow exponentially in Oceanland. You need to have upgrade tickets which are given by chance when mining. The ticket mechanism is completely algorithmic, which means when and what tickets are going to be given is calculated automatically. Moreover, the NFT tools is Oceanland have a limited life. You cannot use them forever. That is the good for the players. Each tool has its own durability. While when the durability hits 0, the tool breaks. You get your investment resource back, except for the tickets. Combining ticket system with the durability give us a steady growth and sustainable economy. It is very important for the blockchain games. The sustainable economy is the most important point for the game like the blockchain game. Because if the economy is not sustainable, the game will be breakdown or lost or will be Casper, you know.
Yeah, I get what you mean. And also, I think another big problem, a lot of projects are facing right now is that, the bear market or the whole industry. Yeah. What do you think about? Yeah. What do you think about it? Yeah, this hardship.
So we have several academicians for researching how to make a good sustainable economy for that game. So we have a big plan for our game. We know, World or Axie Infinity fall down because of their economy, and also the world economy is everything is affected also because it depends on economy. Economy must be sustainable. If not, you cannot manage it good or efficiently. So before you launch the game, you have to think a lot about that. So we do that. This is the most powerful things of our game.
Yeah, I see. So, we all, are we all know that the bear market is not good for everyone. Bobby, are you having the same problem? Like, because the bear market definitely, inducing capital outflow, and probably some potential investors would just stay out. Would it happen? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple of points here, right? So let's unpack that for a second. Listen, there is a correlation today with the world economy and how the crypto markets are, right? So when capital dries up, people liquidate, asset classes that are higher. Now, if you look at the crypto market, even if you look at the top 5 coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, we're talking about an 80% underlying volatility, right? And that continues to be there, right? So if we've talked about game economy, as you mentioned, but that game economy we're talking about is a layer 4, layer 5, as it touches the consumer, right? So if you want to actually build sustainable economy and sustainable price movement, well, you actually have to think about what are some of the infrastructure issues that will help people on board. So, for example, one of the things, as I mentioned before, that we looked at was taking real world use cases that are successful, like ticketing. So at Fellaz, what are we doing? I mean, artists have been around, right? We had artists in Korea 90s, in 2000, and way before that, right? So they've been around. Talent's been around. Concerts have been around. Ticketing has been around. We're just doing it a little bit more efficiently. So, as far as we're concerned, that's been pretty interesting. But I think what you also have to address is some of the infrastructure issues. So can we make it more interoperable? But look at today. If we're going to do really, really high value assets, I want a very simple onboarding. So that means fiat and crypto. I want very explainable understanding that I actually own the asset I purchased. Today, you're connecting to an NFT using your MetaMask. A MetaMask is a pseudo-anonymous wallet. If I get control of your wallet, then you can never prove or legally prove that that asset belongs to you. So I think there are a couple of big things that you're going to see, and we're working on a few of those things here at Fellaz because we believe that these real-world assets actually mean something, and they're actually giving real-world utility. But I want to make sure that whoever purchases that asset can truly prove they own that asset, which is known as attribution. And more importantly, where did that asset come from, which is known as provenance, right? So I think we have to address a certain number of infrastructure level issues.
Yeah.
To give you an example.
I think it ultimately comes down to, the true value, underlying value of the project itself, denominated by the US dollar. And that's actually not correlated to other asset prices. I actually, I'm just starting to learn that some projects can actually have less correlation to the volatility of the whole cryptocurrency industry because of the true value and also the underlying useful utility that it has for the general people. So that's really an interesting thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it comes to intellectual property. Get more people to onboard if we can make the onboarding easier. And if we are doing, as I call Web 2.5 or Web 5.0, as you want to call it, right? If you're giving some real base case utility that already existed, you're not fighting against the tide. You're rolling with the tide and going higher. And as you hit that inflection point, you're surfing. So as a project, we're earning as a business. If we're earning, that means, that's a positive thing. That means the adoption is there. Now, whether they're buying the Fellaz token directly to get that access, or they're going through our treasury to get that access, and we're facilitating that, is creating demand for the token, right? So I think those are the kind of things that we are so focused on to provide that real world value. And at the same time, look at the underlying infrastructure and continuing to improve and the rights of the owner of that underlying asset.
Yeah, thank you, Bobby. One thing that I want to sum up for our audience is that actually, in this bear market, we are also maybe a little bit frustrated because it's been so long. But one thing that I just learned from Bobby is that actually we don't have to be that pessimistic because good projects will come around, right? Because there are a lot of powerful and also really good teams building out some of the very best projects with very good utility and also good function, good value. They even facilitate a lot of things. They solve problems and also they are actually trying to do a lot of things connecting crypto with real life users. It all comes back down to utility, and that utility actually drives demand. So it's actually two things: demand for traditional like Bitcoin, Ethereum. That's another thing, and we have some other gems, I would say. So make sure you have to I think we should also pay attention to discovering some really good projects out there which have some special functionality and also value, just like the evolving NFT projects like FLC, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you should check out the FLC. We've just been putting our head down when markets are bad. We're in our build phase, right? So we're committed to this project. It's we have real world partners like Vendagio and Crust and Cacao and Rakuten and Crypto.com. So these are really established, high quality partners. So I believe if you continue to build, you will get capital. And for us, we've been lucky, but not only lucky, but we've also been very diligent as the way we've approached the market, and I think that also kind of reflects as how we've performed.
Yeah, thank you. We today we really time's running
Johnny.
out. I just want to say yeah, Mr. Europe.
Johnny, I want to say last thing.
Okay, sure.
The most thank you very much. You are very kind.
No, I would like to listen too.
Yeah, thank you very much. The most important things to do for blockchain games today is keep inflation and deflation under control. It is very important point. Actually, this is the most important issue for all the blockchain games. We have formed an academic committee on this subject, and by analyzing all the data, we do our best to make our game long-lasting. Conducting, we do operation research, big data analysis, and other economic analysis for optimization or game economy. Another important issue is to make the game easy to play. Easy to play. In this subject, our team is doing work. Actually, we have a good plan for play and earn to play, something like that. Don't forget, last thing, don't forget KISS rule for that game. KISS rule, KISS, it's a KISS. Keep it small and simple. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Europe. We definitely learned a lot. And time's running out, and I want to take this opportunity to thank Bobby and also Mr. Europe. Thank you for your time, because we definitely learned a lot from the conversation that we had today. I believe that our audience also had a great understanding of Oceanland and also of FLC. And I think that if you guys are interested in finding out more about these two projects, go ahead, follow the Twitter, just browse their website, and also check out their Facebook social media accounts. Stay updated to their projects. I believe these two are very valuable projects out there. And really thank you for your time, Mr. Bobby and Europe. So last but not least, I think most of you have been long waited, is that the Primebox events. This is where you earn your cards and also earn your rewards, because we are having a very big prize today. We have up to, wait a minute, the prize so big. We have up to 1,200 Ethereum prize pool that you guys can share, and that's what a big prize. And let me just go through the steps that you have to take for earning cards. So some of you may not know what Primebox is. Actually, Primebox is from Huobi, and it's actually a series of mystery box giveaway events. So that it's like we are just giving out rewards to you guys. We are giving candy drop token, some Huobi earn APY booster, and trading fee account discount. And in order to participate in the Primebox plus Ethereum 2.0, so make sure you open the Huobi app, enter the Primebox cross ETH 2.0 event page, and then you have to collect the cards. So how do you collect the cards is by just answering the questions that I'm going to ask. You have to answer the questions here. So first, what is the theme of this event? So if you know the answer, just comment down there. We'll have somebody to check it out. And the second question is, how much is the total size, total price pool in a Primebox cross Ethereum 2.0 event? I just mentioned it's pretty easy. So the third question, how many different Primebox cards do you need to make a 2.0 cards? And then what are the name of the Ethereum 2.0 cards? Last question is that how often do you get a chance to share from the Primebox cross Ethereum 2.0 price pool? So make sure you have the answers, below, and then we'll have somebody to contact you. And thank you for your time today. And once again, I want to thank you, Mr. Bobby and also Mr. Yu, for their precious time, and also for having a very good conversation with me. And I really learned a lot. I believe our audience also learned a lot. And yeah, hope to see you in the next event, and stay tuned to our Huobi events page. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thanks a lot.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, John. Thank you.